Once again, my mic was shut off. How do you like that? This time of my own volition. That's what's different today. Anyway, I sat on Judiciary for quite a few years and sat in your place, and I know you've been here for a long time tonight, and I just want you to know I appreciate it. The thing I like most about being in the House when I was here is what I called the full circle concept. You would be very conservative, or you'd think you were, and you'd be on an issue, and then you'd be way over to the right, in my case, and you'd be looking to your right, and you'd see someone from the left standing right beside you on the same issue, someone like Edie Ajello. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, speaking for you, but it happens all the time. One of those issues, you know what it was? It was, in this committee, every year, they'd bring forth a bill that said that if you filed a frivolous complaint, you could be prosecuted. You could be fined for filing a frivolous complaint against a legislator. And to my knowledge, that bill almost always failed because we united. This remedy, this blackout period, that's what I really want to talk about today. You're now making it much worse than that chilling. Remember, the ACLU would come and talk about that bill where you could be fined for filing a frivolous ethics complaint. Remember what they said, Representative Ajello? It would have a chilling effect on the exercise of people's rights of free speech. What are we doing? We're dropping an atom bomb now on the right of free speech. That's what we're doing. We're destroying rights that are already in the Rhode Island Constitution and the United States Constitution in the name of what looks like from the outside, and I've been on the outside for 8 years now, like an act of pure self-preservation. That's what it looks like. The blackout period looks like pure self-preservation, that you are trying to protect yourselves from ethics complaints. But we know it's much worse than that. It's not just you. You're going to protect everybody from ethics complaints if this goes on the ballot the way it's written. Every office holder. You can't file an ethics complaint against any office holder during the blackout period. It's universal. Town council, state senator, state representative, anybody who would otherwise be subject to an ethics complaint suddenly during the blackout period, they don't have to worry. That's really, really a bad idea. I just can't stress it enough. And for those who championed the chilling effect of those bills that failed that said we could prosecute and fine people for filing ethics complaints, you're now putting them in a deep freeze. That's what you're doing. We just can't do this. This is a very, very bad idea. And here's the other problem with it. You're doing something really good putting this on the ballot. That's a great thing. And I remember in 2003, Representative Ajello, I think you and I helped put separation of powers on the ballot. I sponsored the bill. We got a good bill. We didn't yield. We listened to what the people had said, and we put it on the ballot for 2004, and it passed by more than 70%. Look what you're doing with this bill. How many times did you hear during the debate to put legislators within the scope of the Ethics Commission? How many times did you hear during the debate that we needed a blackout period? None. It was never even mentioned. This is a self-insertion by someone to, again, it looks like an act of self-preservation. So this is really a bad idea, the blackout period. Otherwise, the bill's fine. It's a little ambivalent. I agree with, I heard some of the comments earlier tonight. It looks lines 17 and 18, I think, need some work, but I don't want to get deep in the weeds on that. I know you'll get that figured out. It looks like a candidate can't file a complaint, though, read one way, or read another way, that you can't file a complaint against a candidate. Now, I know you meant the latter, not the former, but I think you need to work on that language because it could be either, depending on who reads it. And I know someone said that earlier. I just want to point out that I agree with them. The other thing is, I just want to relate a personal experience. I served up here for 10 years. I took a lot of tough positions. I debated on the floor. I think I hold the all-time record for the number of amendments in 1 year. I accounted for a quarter of all the amendments in 2006 that came to the floor of the House. And I had tough elections every year but one. I felt like I always had a target on my back. I never, ever had to defend an ethics complaint at any time. And I don't know about you. I mean, it's not my place to ask you, but really, I mean, how many of you have had ethics complaints filed against you? What's the big deal here? And let's say one is filed. We know that you win campaigns by how hard you work and how hard you go door to door. The 1 year I lost, I didn't work hard. And, you know, I don't think that ethics complaints make or break campaigns, and I think that everybody in the General Assembly knows it. That's not how you win, and it's not how you lose. So I've probably already talked for too long, but I really hope you'll, and I mean all of this respectfully. I know you guys work hard, and this was one of my favorite committees ever to be on. I used to hear the same arguments every year, and I know you have too, but I never got sick of them. I never got sick of them. Really think about this. You know, there's going to be a floor amendment. Let's face it. I'm certainly familiar with floor amendments. Someone is going to try to amend this on the floor, and I hope some of you will just take one word that's been mentioned tonight about the blackout period and try to remember that during the floor debate on the amendment, which is inevitably coming. So thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Representative Agello.
It's good to see you again, Nick.
Yeah, thank you.
And I do see you when I'm out walking my dog, and you're out walking your dog now that you have a home in Providence.
Yes.
As well as Foster.
Right. I don't have a home in Foster. Coventry. Sorry.
I'm not altogether sure that the blackout period regarding an ethics complaint against a candidate is going to have the effect that some might hope it does.
Yeah, I agree.
If I have an opponent who is wanting to make allegations about my behavior and my conflict of interest or other ethical improprieties, the complaint can't be received by the Ethics Commission, but that opponent is free to talk to my neighbors and talk to our neighbors, walk the district, print flyers, talk to the media about the allegations. They're still out there. So I'm not sure that the blackout effect is going to work to protect me or anyone else.
Well, think about
but
this.
I do think that having the blackout has the benefit for candidates of not having the public be looking to the Ethics Commission, all right, what are they going to say? What are they going to say? What are they going to say? It's time out. We'll see about that later. So it's my word against hers, whether I'm unethical, whether I am doing something bad, which in the end it really is anyhow.
Well, what about a complaint that's filed before the filing period? This amendment says it's stuck in the freezer, it's chilled until the election. That's the way I read it. The Ethics Commission, it says, I wrote it down earlier today when I was thinking about this. The Ethics Commission can't do anything. Yeah, it cannot proceed on a complaint, period. Ethics Commission can't. So even for complaints filed before the filing deadline, one way to read this is that the Ethics Commission cannot proceed with a complaint. So you're right, there's going to be a blackout period. I would suggest to you that the penumbral effect of the blackout period is going to make it much worse than the 4 months that it's been trivialized as. And that's a real danger, the penumbral effect. I don't think, when you go after a candidate, I never ran a negative brochure ever in the 10 years that I was in the House, and I ran for the Senate in 96, I never used a negative ad. And the reason was, it's a double-edged sword. I called it the Red October effect. You fire the missile, it misses, and guess where it's going next? It's coming right back at you. And so there's a great degree of trepidation in throwing, just, putting an ethics complaint forward, especially in the cauldron of an election. So that alone is enough, I think, to temper judgment by candidates, good candidates especially, the ones we want to win and come up here and represent people. That's enough to temper it. So I don't see that the filing of a complaint is going to have any effect that might be positive for a candidate anyway. It's risky. It's really risky. Everybody knows that. You've all run for office. Representative Keeble, I know you've had some tough campaigns, and the flyers are always much worse than the ethics complaint. What really was a problem for me in the one election I lost was my idea to combine towns as Weskenog. The clarion call of Weskenog, that was a hell of a lot more effective than any ethics complaint ever could have been. Trust me. And, you go to people's doorsteps and they're like, what is the name of that town you want to create? And, that alone is enough. The ethics complaints, really, it's not what you think. And I think you all know that. To me, it's self-evident. So.
Okay, any other questions for